Hello, everyone. This is Pamela Howard, and it is Monday. It is time for another Monday midday message. I'm your luxury event planning specialist, and it is time to take that intentional break with me. Yes, it is. So, I'm giving you an opportunity. Go ahead, grab your coffee, grab your tea, grab your snack, get in a place where we can get down and get intentional with our break, and I'm going to tell you why it's important to get intentional with our break, because there is value in being intentional. Yes, it is. So, thank you so much for joining me. If you're catching me live, just say hi and where you are actually joining me from to take your intentional break. If you're catching this on the replay, then just make sure you put in replay. And again, let me know where you're coming from so that I can engage back with you. Monday Midday Message is designed for us to be intentional about taking breaks so that we can be a lot more productive and we can actually produce better throughout our workday, whether you're working in the home, in an office, or a shop, or wherever you're working. So, without further ado, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm so excited to share about our intentional breaks. Last Monday, we actually discussed on being able to identify the signs that we need to take an intentional break. If y'all can remember that, we talked about, some of the things our bodies may go through and change, or some of the things that we actually start doing that should be a sign that we need to take an intentional break. And so on today, I want you to know that taking intentional breaks, they're at the end of the day, they're your responsibility. Whether you work from home or in a crowded office, shop, it's entirely your responsibility to take care of your breaks. Yes. I know it may sound challenging to accept, especially if you work an 8-hour shift by yourself. I'm an entrepreneur, so I get it. You have to work, you have to produce, because if you're not producing, you're not making money. Or with anyone, there's no one there to help you or take your place so that you can take that intentional break. Or you might be in an office and you see that your colleagues are tamelessly working through the whole morning without a break, and they're patiently waiting on that official lunch break. And so you assume that you have to do the same. Otherwise, the manager may cross you up, or another terrible thing might happen, right? This is what we rationalize with ourselves with not being intentional with our breaks. But guess what? The truth is, if you really care about giving your best work, you have to be responsible for your own breaks and find a way to organize them yourself, because no one apart from you will ever know when you're running low on fuel. So if you're running low on fuel and you know the best way to restore your energy, take a break. Take an intentional break. Your breaks will be most valuable when you take them intentionally. So let's talk about what that means, shall we? So I'm going to show this here. You have to make a conscious choice of when to take your break. So important to make that conscious choice on when to take that break. Okay. So the tricky part about that is that before you really know it, it's already too late for a healthy break, believe it or not. See, you have to acknowledge the need for rest. We already acknowledge the need for rest, right? When we're feeling fed up with work, co-workers, we're a little bit frustrated and bitter feelings are starting to rise. So we acknowledge that we need to take a break when that happens. But this shows how important it is to catch yourself before that happens. Otherwise, you're going to need more than just a break. You're going to have to take a radical rest. Does that make sense? So I want to ask you a question. Did you know that breaks taken earlier in the day recover more resources than breaks taken later in the day? I actually had to learn that one myself. So just because you have to be at work at 9 doesn't mean you can't take an intentional break at 10 o'clock. It's all about balancing your time and making sure that you are taking your intentional breaks. Okay. All right. The next thing is when you take these intentional breaks and you're very conscious on when you take these intentional breaks, you have to have a purpose when you take your break. Last week, we talked about like if you work from home and you say, okay, I'm going to take this intentional break from my desk at home. But then you go out into another part of your house and you start washing dishes or you start doing laundry. That's not an intentional break. It's an intentional break, but you're breaking away from work to do another job. And so when you decide on that conscious choice to take and have that break, you also need to have a purpose with that break. So when you decide, say for instance, let's go with the 10 o'clock. You say 10 o'clock is the time you're going to take the intentional break. I say at least 15 minutes. If you can allot 30 minutes, that's fine. Again, this is not your lunch break. This is not a time where you go and grab your meal and have your lunch. This is an intentional break just from work. Okay. Say, let's go with 10 o'clock, 10 to 10:15. You decide that that's one time early in the day that you need to take that break. So what are you going to do when I take that break? Okay. What are you going to do? And what is it going to align with? Let's say that you're taking your wellness back, like I am. So maybe I'm just going to take a walk and I'm just going to absorb the sunshine or I'm going to embrace the cold, brisk air. Be purposeful with that break. Okay. And then pick activities that align with your purpose. So important. Like I said, I'm taking my wellness back. I'm taking that break. I'm going to do a 15-minute walk. Or maybe I'm going to catch up on some hydration and just go and sit and have some water, eat some fruit. Because a lot of times our energy starts to get low in the day. And by the time lunchtime comes, we wonder why we're so fatigued after we eat lunch because we haven't really fueled our body early enough. Remember, by the time we get frustrated, it's already too late. And so we need to figure out how to take these intentional breaks so that we can be more productive with our business, more committed. And, when we meet our customers, our clients, our prospects, potential colleagues or colleagues, we can just, wouldn't it be nice for someone to say, it doesn't matter what time of day, but every time I see Pamela, she's just full of energy. Her skin looks great. She's just on top of her game. Intentional breaks. Intentional breaks would do that for you. Okay. So now I just have a little bit more that I want to share. And then again, if I don't see, I know you all are here. Thank you so much for joining. Go ahead and post your questions. I will promise you, I will engage and I will respond to you as soon as I can. But I just have a little bit more to share. It's very, very important. I guess the last thing I really want to say is it's very important to catch yourself before you get to frustration. Otherwise, you're going to need that radical rest, meaning that you're going to get home and you're just going to conk out on the bed and you're just going to be out. But then you're going to wake up with those things that we talked about last week, where your eating habits change, or you're talking in your head, or you're waking up nauseated and tired, or you're just disinterested and disgusted. Those are some of the signs you don't want to start developing those negative habits. So you want to create some positive habits. One of these positive habits is taking those intentional breaks and then understanding you're going to, whenever you learn that there's value in something, you want to keep doing it because you don't want to lose that value or that benefit. So this is all that I have for Monday Midday Message. I promise you, if you make any comments on the replay or live, I will engage and I will respond. Ask me your questions. And also, I would just like to remind you all, sendoutcards.com if you want to shop, or if you can go to that site and you can actually send a free card to something. That's one way to take an intentional break. Go and send an intentional card to someone. It's free if you go for your first time to sendoutcards.com/Pamela Howard. Also, it's a way to give a tangible touch. With COVID restrictions, it's good to do tangible touches without actually having to touch that something or someone. And also, if you're looking for a way to actually gift someone, go to Tupperware.com, and I would love to have a meeting with you. Meetinghubspot.com/Pamela Howard. I'm your girl, Pamela Howard. I'm your luxury event planning specialist. This has been another Monday midday message where we take an intentional break. I'm so glad that you joined me on today. I would love an opportunity to share more. See me next Monday at 12 sharp. Also, you can meet me on Wednesdays for Wednesday's webinar. You do have to be a member of the group, but you can join. And I hope you all have a fantastic day.